Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the Good 8 Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last episode, we were able to investigate fully, and now we're gonna head into part 2 of the trial, at least, to get some answers. Because there are a lot of the fuck? Get away from me. What the hell? This is it then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, it's time to put an end to this now. The miserable curse has been plaguing Mr. Natsume to everything. In my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you. I always appreciate your help, Mr. Sato. Suffering Saseki selfishly sidelined! Good morning to you too, Mr. Natsume. Good morning! Good morning! Welcome to Mr. Naru Esquire! Listen to you two, chatting away happily as the plain flat air of today's trial is in here. Why would you do that? Why? Oh dear, we didn't mean to cause offense, Mr. Natsume. I thought perhaps that because you had your eyes shut so tightly, you were meditating, finding her inner calm. It seemed wrong to disturb you. I was waiting! What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Why, naturally, that's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. The path to literature, you see, is a journey to the discovery of one's own death, or such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had to set my eyes shut. I missed the signs, I'm afraid, somehow. You'll have to forgive me. And you mustn't talk out of your path leading you to death, Mr. Natsume. That was just an example. Oh yes, there it is, inner calm. You barely came to see me at all yesterday. It's because we were investigating. Else should you abandon me and return to our most beautiful long-lost homeland? We've not even been in Great Britain in a week yet. Yes, well anyway. I intend to set everything straight in court today. I'm determined to uncover the truth. I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh, what sort of decision? I shall fill you in after the trial. Alright. It would seem Mr. Sholmes isn't coming today after all. It's a very clever message, I think, my dear fellows. You must win this battle on your own merits. Very clear message, I think. That he's overslept again. God dang it. The great detective, my arch nemesis. Long may he stay, if you ask me. Defendant, your legal representative. The trial is about to begin. Make your way to the courtroom immediately. Alright, boys. Today, once again, we face the Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Soseki-san's curse. The truth is hidden here somewhere. And I won't let it escape me. I have to keep believing in my client and keep fighting for the very end, that's all. In the name of Her Majesty, the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I call upon the counsels in the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. Yes, the defense is ready. Very good. And now I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury, chosen by lot to represent the will of this people in this trial. Are you ready to proceed? Absolutely. Justice will be done. You mark my words. Oh, I feel obliged to say, I feel especially rootless on days when my head is sitting just right. Oh, I wonder if you could just my hat for me. And please, be as rootless as you like. Thieves deserve to die, if you ask me. Especially gas thieves. I have no sympathy for the man at all. Hey, look, I just said it yesterday. I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I got my own problems. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead us flock to a righteous verdict again today. Now, Lord Von Zeeks, what can you tell us? The prosecution's report, please, for the court. In relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday regarding the defendant's tea. So he does have the results. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the black tea belonging to the blackguard in the dock. Pray allow me to a moment to savor a liquid of more sanguine hair. In fact, I'll deter to the good detective for a report. Here's to you, Inspector. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we have found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen reddish liquid in a little depression on top of it. Yes, that's the tea. It's Mr. Natsume brought with him that night. Well, the brains that you are analyzing, yes, you're right, it was tea. And there wasn't a trace of strychnine or any other toxic substance in it. No poison at all? In other words, the tea the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear. What a revelation! As I suspected, this makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Saseki-san, is blameless here. No. My learned friend is jumping to conclusions again. A typical Nipponese reaction. Nani? Yes, it's true no poison was found in the drops of liquid recovered from the soap in the ledge. But, what logic is that? Would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean is salty? My word, the water in the ocean is extremely salty, Counsel. Huh? Exactly. Unfit for drinking. Just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Bitter was the precise word up the lips of Mr. William Shamspeare, in whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's request. Mr. Shamspeare, yes, it sounds like we're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend. Bailiff, show Mr. Shamspeare to the stand. Oh boy. I have to do his voice too. Mr. William Shamspeare, the victim of this despicable crime. Oh heaven! Oh hell! Do you command me to remember? Forsooth 'twas I, Shamspeare, did have a belly full of the foul fluid given in mine innocence. Wait a second. Are you sure? Are you sure these two aren't the same person? Are you sure these two aren't the same person, or am I just stupid? I'm pretty stupid, I guess. Yes, but as revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we perhaps first been led to believe. By using bars of soap such as this, he has been stealing gas from the supply company, yes. One may smile and be a villain. Forsooth 'twas I, Shamspeare, did have a room full of the sweet fluid given. That's right, fellow jurors, don't forget this man is a rotten thief. I haven't forgotten, kept all about that ice coins a tidy secret, didn't you? You should have owned up sooner. Arrest him, I say. Arrest him at once. Let him feel the sting of my tail. Oh, indeed. By dint of vile, cowardly means have I plotted to further mine own ends, I confess. 'Twas thou wouldst not pardon my sins, of that I am sure. If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing here? Cowards die many times before their deaths, and for a coward such as I, death be well deserved, but would it be that still greater crime passed unpunished? For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman at the farther east in Verona did contrive to poison me. There was no poison in the tea found in your room. The police have attested to that. What the defense would assert is an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so, Mr. Shamspear?
Oh, verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak.
Very well. Let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. Tell the court why is that poison apparently entered your body, though none was found in the tea. Okay, here we go. The tea inconsistency. The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea and brewed in a pot. But 'twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Of feigning ignorance, distraction in our debate, near did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Thus 'tis no surprise that the poison be not found in the tea. I did pour into the molds of soap. The poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. No normal way for poison to be administered in my experience. Quite. Otherwise, it would be disastrous if the poisoner were to mix up the cups, for instance. But no poison was found at the scene. Because, quite simply, the Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considered suicide. I knew that. Now it should be perfectly clear. A bar of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accused's hands. Oh, sir, madam, it is true that I, Shamsir, be a common thief of gas. But listen here, ladies and gentlemen. What for, dear, would I lie? Verily, I have no cause I had not to lose. Why did he break his staff for? Well, I do declare. Thank you for your testimony, witness. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Tea inconsistency. Mata! I understand that you were already acquainted with Mr. Natsumi, is that correct? I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Do I know thee, or know thee not? Methinks 'tis all as I can know, that thy destiny mingles with mine. You lost me at the first D. Zounds, sir, thou must learn English tongue afore thou turns thy hand to lawyering. I did, but I must have missed the archaic Elizabethan lecture. Verily, in truth, 'twas a fine flavored brew, though a drop of poison did barb its sweetness, as the thorn thou barb the sweet rose. That, dear friends, be the simple truth. Listen to Mr. Shamspear. He seems in even better form than he was yesterday. No, I feel like he's just molding. Either that or I'm just in worse form. That fated evening after I did dine at the Grub's Grubbery, a local alehouse of good report, not did pass my lips but the tainted black tea. But behold, the poison was not in the tea at first. Was it really in the cup? Are you saying that you saw the moment when the poison was added to your tea? To have witnessed the act and then drank the tea? Thou dost describe the actions of a fool. Quite so, quite so. But no one likes going thirsty, do they?
Sooner I would die quenched than parched. Would I have the choice?
Actually, on the night in question, the water main was frozen, I believe, wasn't it?
Were it not for the tea ensued, I would sooner have died and frozen than quenched or parched.
Right, no ice coins means no heating. No witness had more than one brush with death on the night in question, it would seem. Remind the court that Mr. Shamspear was as to whether the accused drank any of the tea which he brought with him.
With the greatest of pleasure, my liege. Whilst feigning distraction in our debate near...
Okay. But the teacup Mr. Natsume drank from was found completely empty at the scene, and let's not forget the defendant's maxim: drink tea while it's hot!
I did go from the poison cup that night, and in mine agony I did arrive uncontrolled. In fits of pain I did knock the fellow's cup, and the contents spilled as blood as from a gaping wound, methinks. Though certainly, 'twas after I made the coins of ice from his tea.
An upset cow was found on the table that the victim was slumped over. There is no contradiction here.
It's true, there was no tea left in either cup that we found at the scene. But still, something about this statement is troubling me. Yes, of course, I know what it is. It's Mr. Natsume's wise drink tea while it's hot maxim, isn't it?
No, it's not.
No, I'm not sure that's it. Thank you, witnesses. Now reiterate for the court, what is it that you occupied after your guests have left before you drank your tea? When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice.
So you do admit.
Yes, so that you could cheat the gas company, in fact, isn't that right? To cheat? Or to die? 'Tis life's only choice.
Yes.
Faith? To cheat be the wise choice, and mine occupation not an ugly one? Prithee, dost thou not see beauty in the simplicity of the ruse? No, I don't. And be very sure, sir. Once this trial's over, Outmont Gas will take you over to this legal test. I shall not run, I shall not hide. Sooth to say, I have nowhere to run, nor to hide. But my lady, while thou's with this pitiful prayer... Oh, I'll tell you what I like to do with you, starting with the shoddy shirt on your back.
Oh no,
'Tis time for a Shakespeare dance, because I might get killed one day. What a harsh world we live in.
The thieving of the gas was addressed in yesterday's proceedings. The prosecution calls on the defense to not muddy waters with irrelevancy.
Consider that a warning, counsel.
Yes, my lord.
Why am I the one in trouble here?
Mr. Shamspear, after the accused returned to his own lodging, you used his tea to make your own coins. Is that correct?
To cheat or to die? Don't shut up! I did make my choice many moons ago.
If having first made your special coins, it was after 2 in the morning when you collapsed, that would mean you can't have drunk any tea to yourself until that time.
Once ensnared by literary debate, naught else be found that furrows up the mind.
The debate about Romeo and Juliet, you mean? Who was the stronger of the two?
Delightfully, I did pay no heed to the tea as I wrestled with the abominable fellow.
I don't remember debates like that when I was studying.
Are you suggesting that neither of you actually drank the tea while it was hot that evening? My lord, dost thou be privy to some Shakespearean wisdom? Husband, wife, and tea, ought I tepid be?
Yes, so very true. Everyone has different preferences when it comes to tea. I think you might have interpreted that wrongly.
So it's been proven that there's no poison in Soseki-san's tea. That should be hugely in our favor. But the atmosphere in this courtroom today feels as though everybody's against us, Mr. Naruhodo. Must be the Reaper's poison. I'm afraid that if you don't find a significant flaw in this testimony somewhere, the jury will pounce and find Mr. Natsume guilty. It really feels like we jumped into the fire here. Something tells me it has to be this, doesn't it? Let me see. Is it the teacups? You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question, but that's impossible. How, Chop Logic, what is this, you clad fiend? The two teacups from the scene, one used by the victim, and the other by the defendant, have a clear difference between them. One that represents incontrovertible proof. Incontrovertible? What difference? Look at the inside of the cups, just here. There's a clear visible ring. Yes, finally! I've been wanting to point that out for a while. Yes, a tea ring. Commonplace enough. Indeed. Such stains occur too readily when one leaves tea in the cup for a while. And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring. Good lord, you're right, it's completely clean. Oh, prithee, sir, what makes thou of it? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday, the Japanese saying he quoted. Drink. Tea. Whoa, it's hot! That's right. Yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self. That night and drank his tea in no time. If you as a claim in your testimony he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well after the several hours the tea was left standing. But, in short, Mr. Shamspear, you clearly lied to the court. Oh my god! How much perjury have you done to this court? Not once, not twice. Get thee to the nunnery! He's gonna break his cup, isn't he? As a rule, I fulfilled my Hallis chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. You might want to keep that information to yourself. Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me as I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating, but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Shamspear. Yes, my liege. Though you previously stated you made the coins of ice from leftover tea in the accused's cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? In fact, that had vanished from your memory until now? What? You can't, Faith, my liege, thou art a magician. Oh, you can't be serious. He clearly lied to the court. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that he left tea? For verily, this is though thou hast seen thine own eyes that night. Nani? Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use the tea for the Japanese fellow's cup, but I looked, it was empty. But did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot as my league did suggest? The fuck? You just suddenly remember now that you made a mistake before? What? What about perjury? Perjury! Lyrical perjury. Are we supposed to believe that?
People's memories are imperfect, my learned friend, which is why we rely on evidence instead.
What evidence? What? This is bullshit. What evidence? You haven't even... Alright, tell me your evidence. Tell me your evidence that he did fucking use. Oh my god. What the fuck?
But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us two things of note. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And secondly, that the spoiled cup was not the source of the insipid ice coins that bewitched this court.
Evidence? Mod check? Evidence? Mod check? Mod check.
The prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts.
Evidence?
Furthermore, that testimony remains valid in full support of the established facts. In other words, the inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist.
Where's the evidence? Evidence, mod check. Where is the evidence? But he clearly lied testimony. He clearly lied testimony. Are you telling us to believe that the testimony is now reliable now? For fuck's sakes, game. No. Oh my god.
What does this mean then? I do declare it means that there is no issue with the gas tape's testimony. Apart from the bit of a thieving gas, obviously.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear. Died after I dined at the Grubbery Ale House that night. Not did pass my lips, but the black tea given me by the Japanese, whose back be stooped as low as death.
In what did you dine, sir?
Why, I did partake of my favorites. A broth would be called soup, and a leaf would be called salad.
In subularious a menu as establishing where it was served.
Evidence! Evidence! Where's the evidence? Did we just dismiss evidence? Are we really just dismissing evidence right now? But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. Willingly would I suffer what punishments 'tis seen to fit serve a wicked thief of gas, but I pray ye wise and noble fellows ne'er forget the simple truth. That be one thing and this be another. Jurors and all, in your humble servant Shakespeare, thou entereth you punish the Japanese fellow for his sins.
My lord. If I may speak, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Foreman.
I believe we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer.
Oh, but Evidence? By me? But what grounds? I do declare you may be right. We all know that a waif there was making coins of ice to keep himself warm.
But this lawyer lad says he's stealing gas. He deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path. That's what he's been doing.
I really never said anything like that.
But we have just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again.
He's clearly lying! He's lying in front of you guys. Guys, he's lying.
We wish it a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. The court now acknowledges the position of the jury foreman, and will duly hear the jury's findings.
What? No! You can't yet!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
Oh my god! This is so stupid. The fucking testimony is not even relied as evidence. Oh my god.
I hereby declare the jury to be in one accord.
Oh, happy day. How is this happening again? Literally. My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry the summation examination.
Very well, the court upholds the defense's right. Typical, my learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth. This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Jurors, the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of the crime of which he is charged.
Alright, let's do this.
Alright. I'm a man of logic, me. And having considered all the evidence, the defendant must be logically guilty. Guilty.
I do agree that the guard house is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid pain. The slip stuff explodes. It can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around this city and maintain the pipes.
Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times.
If nothing else, past the victim's zips at night, there's no other explanation, is there? Oh, for fuck's sakes, guys, you guys are unreliable.
I do feel a personal opinion about gas. Its supply has influenced decisions somewhat. But never mind.
No, you really should mind. The truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as saleable as we hoped. And Mr. Shamsy was poisoned, and there can be no doubt of that. Then how are we supposed to turn this around? Or evidence! Evidence! I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shamsy was actually poisoned. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court incontrovertibly. But they're surely almost impossible at this stage. If we don't manage it though, Mr. Natsume will be found guilty.
No delays, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
For fuck's sakes. Are all the evidence, you say? Really? All the evidence?
That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing to that Japanese man with the big mustache.
Oh god, racist. Says the Englishman with the bigger mustache. Which means we have to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind. If only we had that kind of evidence. Don't worry, this summation examination has barely really started, really. Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light. Let's hope so. To start with, though, I need to find some way out of this deadlock. This isn't the time or the place to be discussing the price of gas, madam. But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas. Air is free. Why should Altamont gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more rootless than ever. This isn't the time or the place to be rootless either. If I might interject here. Yes, madam? It seems that my fellow juror takes issue with the price of our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas, utterly unforgivable. No, Mr. Natsume isn't the one who's been stealing gas. I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes. Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway, I found quite made up my mind as made up as the price of gas. And the stuff explodes it can poison you. That's absolutely lethal, the ass says. Can we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think, sir? Well, if you like. I mean, if you like, to be honest, I take poison over gas every time. You take poison. Well, I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it? Oh, goodness me, what are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man. Well, it's certainly true that the poison isn't prone to exploding. But I will think you'll find poison can't light or heat up a room. Ah, you're right. I hadn't considered that at all. Young lawyer man. Yes? You have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you as our company's legal representative. Well, I wasn't expecting to pick up any more business in the middle of a trial, that's for sure. Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past. Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? There's an all-out attack underway here, in case you hadn't noticed, against my company's gas. And I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so. He's really buzzing now. Oh, I've heard about our wonderful fuse explosions and poisonings. What about electricity, What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here is nothing... There's nothing in comparison. Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam. Nevertheless, the threat of your gas is deplorable. My point exactly. The gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know. More devious? Who, madam? Other gas companies, of course. Other gas companies? Not quite what I was expecting. We generate gas and deliver to our customers at fair and square. Indeed, nobody is questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company. But there are unscrumptious gas companies here in London that don't even get any gas at all. What? But if you don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? If they steal our gas, you see, and sell that. They steal your gas? How on earth is that such a thing possible? The gas companies like ours deliver gas to our people's homes via a network of pipes. These devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. They make a contract with the household supply with those pipes, and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally? What a brazen form of theft. We visit customers' houses to collect the money from their meters. We always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies has been up to track. Chotomate. Do you have something to say about that juror number 3? Oh golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry, I'm just sticking to myself. I really did catch him off guard there. I'll think about what the lady next to you was saying, correct? Well, yes. I just got a little write-up about it recently, you see. Go on. An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipe work. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in, and do you know what he did? I'm afraid I have no idea. Let me guess, he just took the gas. Please tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall, and he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away our company's secrets there. Oh, please, everyone knows. But it was nearly the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean? I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to the pipe app network. Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it? Obviously, there's gas in the pipes and fairly low pressure. By blowing air into the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment. Oh, I see. In other words, if upon blowing the pipe, the lights have been adjusted properly has been no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes. Exactly, my lord. That's in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker. The trouble is, the particular worker who came to my house didn't know the strength of his own He blew down the pipe with all his might. But you can guess what happened, can you? Well, if he blew hard, then... Wait, You mean... Well, that's right. The lights didn't just flicker. They went out along with the stove. Gas started pouring into the house. What a disaster. The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard. I guess. I'm afraid I yelled at that fire. Are you trying to kill us all, I said? So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yes, this is almost certainly the clue that we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requested you amend your statement to include that information. Well, if you like, I don't mind. Well, I do. That's our company's secret method of identifying the rogues that do try to deal. Like I said, madam, it's widely known already. Very well, juror number 3, you will amend your statement accordingly. Yes, my lord, although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. When you say extinguish everything in the house, do you mean even on different floors? Oh yes, all floors are connected to the same pipe after all. That's true of every building. Because of gas company contracts are issued for the whole properties. Well, I had no idea it was possible to extinguish gas appliances simply by blowing down the pipe. It's not something we like to publicize, to be honest, but we have to carry out these investigations, as I'm sure you can appreciate. Indeed, it has been mentioned on one more than other occasion in the papers even. Is that so? It's been mentioned to me before recently. An incident revolving the gas stove going out inexplicably, almost leading to someone's death. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yes, it's finally starting to fall into place. The secret link that joins all of these strange occurrences. Two more? You mean it's poison?
Yeah, that's right. It's happened a tidy few times now. This is most troubling indeed. It's always days like this one when I don't get any wages. I get that in tea at E times C, and I see her doing it, my wife. She gets that devilish look on her face, and she sips some of the white powder into my cup.
And you drink it anyway?
I was brought up proper, I was. If someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it.
And what happened to you? What did it taste like?
It was god-awful, if you believe me. Salty as hell.
Were you actually drinking tea? Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt?
No! So, she doesn't even care to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable. Let's move on, please.
That was unreliable. Nothing else past the victim's lips that night. There must no explanation, is there? Does that mean if the victim could be shown to have ingested something else, you could have changed your leaning? Sorry? What's that now? Oh, I was just saying if the victim actually did eat something or drink something else on the night. What's the matter with you? Sorry? I said if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? Have you been listening to me at all? I feel there's an English expression about a pot and a kettle that's appropriate here. Compared to the other jurors who don't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all, it would seem that this elderly gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intently. I suppose the trouble is... he has selective hearing? Exactly, but still. This juror may well be the key to breakthrough that we so desperately need. This is hopeless! There's no way to even appeal to these people. I do think that the only way we should overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way Mr. Shamsky was really poisoned. We have to prove that it happened in some other way, not via Mr. Natsume's tea. Yes, I know, the trouble is, I have absolutely no idea how it happened. It did happen, So Naruhodo, I wonder if perhaps there's something you might have forgotten. Oh, like what? It's important to watch everyone involved in pursuit of people if they react to something someone else says. I'd like to remind you of exactly what I mean. I'd be more happy to, if, of course.
And once again, Saseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands here. I probably owe it to my client to hear any advice my assistant may be able to offer, so perhaps I ought to let Susato remind me, and then again... refresh my memory! Fuck it. When a particular juror is talking, the other jurors will be listening, naturally. Most of the time when people are speaking themselves, they are careful not to give away more than they want to. When they are listening to others speak, they tend to be less guarded. Yes, that's very true. Hey, if you see people reacting strangely in an unguarded moment, you must pursue them to find out why. Here, take a look at this, Mr. Naruhodo. When you press jurors about their assertion, and a marker appears in the center of the screen. Press A and D to move the marker to see how the jurors are reacting to what's being said. And if you find any particular juror that seems to be reacting oddly, you can pursue him or her about it. By catching people off guard, you may be able to glean over new and potentially useful info. Yes, alright, I've got it. Press, and then if something seems odd, slide the marker with A and D to see if one of the other jurors are having an unusual reaction. If so, pursue that juror. The question is, who do I pit up against? He said 6 is gonna be a key factor in this, but... Is it 3? Is it 3 and 6? Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious, whose statements do you refer to, Counsel? Juror number 6, do you hear what juror number 3 just said? What? Yes, of course, I heard him mumbling about something or other. There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Sanatsumi he did, in a matter of speaking past the victim's lips on the night inquest. Gas? What? An explanation? I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene? See if there was any traces of poison there? I was curious to see what your floundering would have resulted in this time, but the mouth of a gas pipe? Scotland Yard has enough to do with without exploring such irrelevance. What a piece of work is a man! What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspear? But speak it thou. 50, is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir. No, I've been quite clear. Let me put it another way. Stretchline could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body. Good lord. Are they tasting in gas pipes? And that's what he's saying? No! No! Oh, is it the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly with gas? No. Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him. Oh, for shame, madam, for thy speaking thy fancy. I assure you I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes. Huh? This is no summation examination, this is a farce. This prosecution will not stand for any more learned Nipponese friends' conjecture. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is on high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips to the pipe that feeds it, he would have been be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. There is no possible proof that the man did as you say. It's true, I have no proof that Mr. Shamsky put his lips to the pipe. However, I cannot say with some certainty that much on multiple occasions. And Mr. Shamsky has been doing something in front of the lamp on his wall. and I have evidence to prove it.
Alright, if you got our attention, lad, I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself.
So would I. Let's see his evidence then. I've got the jury's ear to make sure this opportunity count. This is the proof that, time and time again, a chance in front of a gas lamp. Handprints on the wall. What the? These are... wait, what are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene. Skin prints, Counsel? I never heard of such a thing. Justice Ministry is currently asserts we are not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however. My lord, this is an exciting news forensic technique developed by the great detective Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It goes all over the places that Mr. Shakespeare is such in his room. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's black magic, isn't it? Well, if anyone can invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure. I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating. We found skin prints in many places that you would expect, on the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shakespeare also has been touching some very unexpected places in his room. Being the pipe here, for example here, cross-hanging the picture there, indeed multiple handprints appear to be visible. Well, I wonder, could he have been more appreciating the artwork perhaps? At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, there is a lamp above. Imagine standing with your hands whose prints are, and you will find yourself directly in front of... Ah! I don't believe it. The gas lamp. Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shakespeare has regularly been standing with his hands on the wall in front of that lamp. Right, what have you been up to, you nut? I asked the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement. Me? What did I say? He said that the blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now if you recall juror number 3's statement. What? Me now? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force in the pipe, it causes all the lights and gas stove to go out as gas starts leaking into the rooms. Obviously that incident was an accident, however that simple fact is... he still did it Mr. Shakespeare would have to blown hard into the gas pipe here in this room. He could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will. Crikey! Are you suggesting that the man purposely caused the gas to... He's had enough. Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during the summation examination, I must toast to my learned friend's utter disregard of the letter of the law. What is the meaning of this, Lord Von Zeeks? This curious photograph or whatever it is presented by the defense, this so-called skin prints, clearly that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case. But it's an exciting new forensics technique developed by a great detective. It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. Certainly even research of this nature by esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence. But... please, my lord, if I may, Mr. Sato, it was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wished to present the results by the great detective's investigation of the scene, as a tool which explained by a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has seen now. And I don't believe we can allow that to happen. I'm sure the jurors would agree. You're right! Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3. Oh yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation results should sound absolutely fascinating. I wanted to hear that from that shady actor fellow who has to say about these shady handprints. Okay.
2 to 4. Where's the shift?
What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy. Well, I did say it, didn't I? I don't like to break a promise. No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not fair dink of evidence.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. If just one more juror changes his or her mind, Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue. Thank you, Mr. Sato. I couldn't have done it without you. Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much to your success. Why, Mr. Shamspiel? You seem to be losing your composure. There's one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it. Very well. Continue with counsel. Are there no clues that might help us? All we can do is keep pressing these jurors for more info, I suppose. We simply have to find some way to turn the situation around. Or Mr. Natsume was found guilty, okay. All the evidence, you say?
That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing to that Japanese man with the big smile.
Says the Englishman with the bigger mustache, blah blah blah. Let's just demonstrate another possible explanation for the events on the night in question. What do you make of that?
What, your so-called skin prints?
It's an exciting new forensics investigation technique, built by the great detective himself. Numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And Mr. Shamspiel indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe and knife in question. It can be denied that there's a possibility that that's where the poison was.
Well, yes, I won't deny that's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly says, we should pay no heed to the unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides,
yes,
even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up the same shenanigans on the night in question, does he?
Oh?
If you can't make up your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance.
You do make a very valid point, sir. What?
If that's true, I was a little hasty. No, wait. Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? You got your time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is.
Just leave it to our nationality. Leave our nationality out of this, please. So Naruhodo, we can substantiate our position. I'm afraid our jurors can change their minds before they very well change them back. What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give them here? Can I show that Mr. Shamsi really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question? Fuck! Do we even have more evidence? I don't know if we have evidence. Let me see the court record real quick. Huh. Huh. I'm thinking right now. Okay. Maybe we don't have evidence. Maybe I have supporting testimony? I am thinking. I don't want to get this wrong, otherwise it's gonna backfire me in the end. Supporting testimony? No, in truth, I don't have any evidence to support my theory, but however, there is witness testimony that's substantiated.
Oh, what's that testimony?
This is incredible. Whose testimony? Yes, it's all connected. Everything is linked. Person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the Garrett residence that night, namely... is it either... It's either Garrett or Natsume, if I gotta be honest. Garrett or Natsume. Honestly, I think Soseki would know. Because he was also in the room too, wouldn't he? Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant. Mr. Soseki Natsume himself.
Defendant?
At the very beginning of the proceedings here in the court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following.
My Law Janes, there's been a whole series of strange happenings, my Law Janes. Even that fate when it happened, when I returned from Mr. Shamsky's room, I lit my gas stove up and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me.
On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not?
Good golly.
So that Shakespeare fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose?
Hey, hold your horses there. Why would he do that for?
Mr. Foreman.
What is it, man?
We cannot allow judgment to be passed while this doubt remains. It's true I don't have any conclusive evidence yet, however, you must surely agree that there's more to this case than meets the eye.
Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic, first and foremost.
4-2, hell yeah! That's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty. Whew, my lord, we have overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls the trial to continue.
As the defense has rightfully indicated, the summation examination is concluded with majority of the jurors altering their decisions. 2 members of the jury now called guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted and in accordance with the law of this land. I hereby order the continuation of this trial. Yeah! Mr. William Shamspeare.
My lord, how can thy humble Shamspeare serve thee?
How can... What say in response to this various revelations made by the summation examination?
Go admit me, I solemnly swear, I recall an aught of either the lamp or the pipe.
Well, your handprints have made a tiny mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh?
No!
I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5. Who, me? As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from the self-professed detective toys has no place in a British court of law. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains at this time unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that.
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order amount of gas pipe feeding that lamp in Mr. Shamsky's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there...
What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall in order to check the presence of the poison contained, some remnants of the tea would be required.
Yes.
Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that if the poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making analysis impossible.
Ugh, I didn't think of that.
In any case, Counsel, I fear to see what could have possibly have motivated the man to do as you described. What on earth does this fellow have to blow air into the gas pipe where he lived?
So one possible I can think of, that is the leaking of gas to commit murder.
Ora, Counsel! Precisely what life do purpose this man was plotting to end?
Answer couldn't be simpler. Now if we've unraveled the mystery this far, Shakespeare wanted to end the life of... Oh my god. Wait a second! No!
You were really trying to kill him?
You were in the same... If a gas sample to go out, it would have been noticed immediately, of course. By gas soap, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by a killer without anyone noticing.
I live around those parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. You'll freeze to death in no time.
So Garadeb, the landlord has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shakespeare was trying to end.
Outrageous.
I am talking, of course, about the defendant. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim! This man was trying to murder. Yeah!
Good gracious. The accused is actually aggrieved? Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of this case remain unchanged. Namely, the accused is the aggressive here.
Nani? How can you still claim that? Is it one way or the other, or is it the other way around?
Let us indulge your moment. Assume that there is indeed poison in the mouth of the gas pipe. The question then arises, who put it there?
Who did put it there?
The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supplies and his intent to kill. Yes, that would be indeed seem logical. If Sam were unaware, how would she or have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison? So now we must ask, how could anyone have known Mr. Shampoo's murderous designs?
You mean to suggest...
Naturally. The sole possible answer to that question could be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known.
Don't tell me, Natsume, Nani?
Other words, the person who's put poison on the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused Mr. Soseki Natsume. Whatever William Shakespeare may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could have perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. The defense's counsel theorizing has failed to avert the suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, there's a clear motive for the poison has been successfully established. That suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend?
The motive. It comes back down to it. The motive. God damn it! How do you manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leans against us again. And this may very well be your last chance to gain the advantage.
What advantage?
It seemed that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Shamspeare's room. You must mean that person now and absolve that Mr. Natsume of guilt. You mean name the true culprit. Well, that's not impossible if we fail to do that. I have no doubt Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all.
As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison. It's all pointing to that particular person now. The prosecution called for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. What? Oh! Don't you worry! You'll know exactly what... There's one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime. The true culprit! A term found only in second-rate novels featuring the third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friend. Who is it? Why not? This farce has gone on so long already. I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax.
Thank you.
Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend. What is your latest theory? Who is this so-called true culprit of this crime? Oh my god. So... could this be? Then again, if we assume that William Shakespeare isn't really the culprit, but there's a lot of other evidence that we have found in our investigations that only connects to one person. Oh my god. It's because it's connected to this. No way. It's because of the last case. The name the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shakespeare is, I believe, Miss Olive Green. Miss Olive Green, Miss Olive Green. I do as feel as I heard that name in the recent past, Counsel. I don't recall where. The past case. Oh my god. It's all connected! Miss Olive Green, the woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of the stabbing on Briar Road. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add. Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe. I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shakespeare's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed all that at the time, she appears to have rather fine alibi. True. On the night the incident occurred, Miss Green was in the hospital unconscious, and so on the face of it, it seemed that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday. We found her possession of a bottle of poison. Good gracious, she had poison! And there is another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought over to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court. The letter. Tell me, Mr. Shakespeare.
My lord, play what I be bidding.
Are you acquainted with Miss Green?
No, never heard of her.
You lying sack of anus.
Judging by the look of that Mr. Shamspeare's face, I think perhaps he generally doesn't know her, at least not by name.
As the voice of Her Majesty Prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see that my learned Nipponi's friends farce through its conclusion.
I appreciate that.
The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here.
Yes, Miss Olive Green.
Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient.
Very well, I grant the request.
Excellent. I hope.
The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation. But at the present time, I feel as though the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. And largely, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain on the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We will convene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is gonna be big change up.
Oh boy. But why?
I see. All we can do is save. So next time on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, we're gonna get Miss Olive Green here, and hopefully we can get a lot of her testimony as well. I guess I'll see you guys all next time.